Well, now we begin the first of a two-part series taking an in-depth look at the two men running for governor.
Republican Scott Walker grew up in Delavan, now lives in Wauwatosa, and is raising two teenage boys with his wife, Tanette. He is the Milwaukee County Executive and also served in the state assembly. Walker turns 43 on Election Day. News 3's Jessica Arp joined Walker on the campaign trail.
There's a lot of people out there in these tough economic times who are trying to do more with less.
You probably know Scott Walker as the brown bag guy.
Now, I grew up in a small town called Delavan over in Walworth County.
The self-proclaimed frugal son of a preacher man touts a high-mileage Saturn and a penchant for ham sandwiches at lunch hour meetings he's holding across the state. But it's the message behind the bags he wants to take all the way to the State House.
I've said repeatedly my priority is going to be really focused in two areas. What will this do to help retain or grow jobs from existing companies here in Wisconsin? Or what will this do to attract new companies into Wisconsin that aren't currently here? If it's not one of those two things, it's not going to be a priority for me.
Walker is promising voters he can create 250,000 jobs in the state inspired by the growth of the Thompson era. He says it's all about changing the climate for business. Walker says that includes cutting income taxes for small business owners by 1%, even though it would only save most owners a few hundred or a couple $1,000s.
What people are looking for is they're not looking for government to bail them out. What they're looking for is government to not hurt them. And the more we can get government out of the way, the more employers all across the state want to add more people.
If companies like Madison's Wingress Stone wanted to add more people, Walker would let government in the process, promising a 24-hour hotline for businesses.
Not for special treatment, not for a special deal, but when something comes up that maybe they have a question about, that there's someone in the governor's office who's actually going to give them some help.
Voters seem to be buying the message. Walker holds an edge in most polling against Milwaukee Mayor and Democrat Tom Barrett, who has been on the attack.
Scott Walker. Can't trust him with our money. Can't trust him to tell the truth.
But Walker hasn't stuck to the high ground.
If we can't trust Tom Barrett to keep his word, then we can't trust him to be our governor.
Which might lead voters to wonder if they can trust either candidate in the race.
Now, of late, we've made some contrast, absolutely. But if you look at the totality of our ad campaign, I think most people would say Scott Walker told us what he was going to do, who he is, what his background is.
His background and even his music choices are winning over voters.
The only thing I can't stand that my kids listen to some of his rap. I'm not big on rap, but that's a little over the top for me. But I
got my vote, man.
Thanks, appreciate it.
It's probably not a surprise that the brown bag guy isn't jumping to Jay-Z. But what may be is that the guy with the straightforward style is hoping to be remembered as the guy with the impressive vision.
But in the end, I'm going to make bold promises, I'm going to keep them, and I'm always going to act in the best interest of the people of this state if I'm elected as governor.
For Campaign 2010, Jessica Arp, WISC News 3.
And tomorrow night at 6, we profile Walker's Democratic challenger, Tom Barrett.